Hello and welcome. My name is April Hunter, and you know me from Metaphysical Money or Beacon Rock. I'm in all kinds of different places, but my name is April Hunter, and today we have Natalie Taylor with us today. Natalie saved my ass on the Q4 Business Almanac, which I always leave out words for. So this is the Fall Quantum Business Design Almanac. She really saved my butt because I went and I like Aries a little bit too hard at Taekwondo and I needed a lot of assistance and she came in like clutch, like it wouldn't have been out on time if it wasn't for her. So we're going to spend some time kind of getting to know her a little bit today. She works with female or women identifying business owners and really helps them scale with strategy. So I'm going to let her give a better introduction to herself and kind of tell us about what she does and why she likes working with the energetics the way she does.
Yes, absolutely. It's amazing to be here with you. And thank you so much for that note. Yeah, it was so fun to be able to just work with you like when everything was down to the wire. And we did it. We got it out on time. It was amazing, and people are still enjoying it, and we'll continue to enjoy it throughout Q4, I'm sure. So yeah, it's thank you so much. I'm Natalie. I am a priestess and energetics coach, and I help women build and scale their businesses and their marketing through sacred feminine energetics. So my work blends like energetic alignment and subconscious rewiring. I specifically love to leverage a modality called RRT or rapid resolution therapy. And it's with the goal of like helping female entrepreneurs feel safe to be seen and to share their message with clarity and power. Because ultimately, we need more women confidently standing in their truth and sharing it with the collective and the world. Like, that is what we need these days. And so I am just here to basically help them find that way for themselves.
Right. So for people who are not familiar with what a priestess is, what is a priestess?
Yeah, so it basically, for me, it basically just means, and I say for me because I think for different women, it means different things. Frankly, like for different priestesses, it means different things,
Mhm,
like slightly different. Like there's no one size fits all.
mhm.
But for me personally, it means that um, I make the highest effort that I can to live in my fullest integrity
Mhm.
and live in the frequency of love throughout my life and my business work. That is like a very high level overview.
Mhm.
There's also a lot having to do with learning about like sacred feminine lineage and all of that beautiful amazing stuff.
Mhm.
But that is like at a high level, that's what I do. Is I walk in the frequency of love, and it means that basically, like I choose consciously to love everyone that I come into contact with.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that I have to like them or agree with them necessarily, but like I choose to radiate that frequency of love.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
not in, if you've read the Almanac, then you know that I have very strong opinions about the word love. This is more on the level of cherish and adore, okay? Or maybe I should say I adore that instead. Okay, so when you're talking about RRT and you're saying that this is like subconscious rewiring, are you really trying to like mind control us or brainwash us? Or is it really just like a perspective shift from like a quantum level?
Yeah, it really is a perspective shift. And honestly, the first thing that occurred to me when you said that was it's really in an effort to like de-brainwash you from societal conditioning. Because I think a lot of us, especially as women, a lot of us have these very core rooted beliefs that we learned somehow in some way throughout our childhood mostly, or we picked it up somewhere along the way of like us growing up, and then it's just been reinforced a couple different times, and then it becomes a core belief within us, but it might not actually be reality, and it might not actually be true. It might just be something that we believe to our core that's controlling like the actions that we do in everyday life or in our business.
Mhm.
So like I think a good example of that would be a lot of women, especially when they're at the beginning of building their business, they tend to like limit themselves by thinking that they have to have X, Y, and Z before they can launch their first product. Like I have to have a perfect website. I have to have, 10,000 followers on Instagram before I can launch my first group program or something. And they feel these limitations as though they are real. And they go and they subconsciously like find different ways that they can prove that that's real. Like, oh, that person has 10,000 followers and they just launched and they made a good chunk of money from their launch. So like if I don't have 10,000 followers, I'm not going to make any money from my launch, and then they just continue to reinforce those core beliefs, and then it just becomes a part of what controls their actions. And so part of my work is to basically like rewire that, work that out, and just say like that's actually not the truth. Let's make something different the truth for you.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So it's so funny that you're mentioning launching because I am building out a launch dashboard template. So if you don't know what a dashboard is, it's kind of like a control panel or like your car's dashboard type situation where you can like visually see what's happening. And so in that is all the ways that they can prove how it is working versus isn't working.
Love
And
it.
so that's super exciting. So when we were building the quantum almanac, the theme for Q4 and this fall, all the way through the end of the year, is really, really rebuilding. And so, when we're talking about rebuilding,
Mm-hmm.
what are you working on building for this fall?
So currently, I actually just released my newest audio activation. I About 6 months ago or so, I made a very conscious choice in my business that I was calling myself a wealth energetics coach. And I think it was like a business and wealth energetics coach. And it wasn't really resonating with me anymore. And this will all relate, I promise. um, and it wasn't really resonating with me anymore. And so I decided, I was like, you know what? That's not really what I am. Like, I am an energetics coach. And then, first and foremost, I am a priestess, and I officially want to bring that into my business world now. And because, it's kind of like, do I want to come out of the closet as a priestess or not? Like there's a lot of wounding around that term in general and around like what everything that comes with that and what it means. And so finally I was like, oh, screw it. Like I'm just going to do it, and that's what I am. And so that's what I'm going to start calling myself and really like instilling in people that like this is what I am and this is the kind of work that I do. So fast forward a few months, and I looked at my offer suite, and it also wasn't really resonating with me anymore. I was like, this is not really what I'm truly trying to like project out into the world. So as of yesterday, I released my new audio activation called The Altar of You. And it truly is it's an audio activation. I didn't call it an RRT rewire. However, I do use a lot of like RRT technique in it. Um, and the main goal is to bring you back to the remembrance that you are the channel for your business. And if you take care of yourself first and lead with that energetics first mentality, then the strategy can work after that. And I truly believe that. And I think that I have proven that to myself multiple times through my business. If we're talking about core beliefs, you know, um, and like I've tried to implement strategy before where the energetics just aren't behind it, and it doesn't work. Like it just all takes a nosedive. And so this is really the way that I believe things should be done. And this is the way that I see working for a lot of women out there. It's just a more natural approach to business and to strategy. And so that audio rewire is out, which I'm so excited about. I am also going to be part of a summit in November called the Magnetic Visibility Summit. And I am specifically speaking on, oh God, I forget what my segment is called. It's basically like feminine sales is what it is. And so I'm going to be talking all about the difference between like the difference in sales between like masculine and feminine energetics, and kind of like the reason that it feels good to do sales one way versus another, basically, and like how you can kind of play with that. Because as a woman in business, any female entrepreneur will tell you, you can't just fully be in your feminine energy, unfortunately. Like you just can't, because that's not realistic. Like you have to bring in some of that structured masculine as well. And I'm sure you know this because you're so good. You're a fractional CFO, like you know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that it's really important to actually call out the difference in energetics, like at an energetic level, like what does the sales process look like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's so interesting, like everything you just said, because summer was very much like this, like boiling pressure pot of like everything that happened. And I feel like everybody that I know had something happen between March and like mid June where it was like, I don't know what's not working, but I'm going to make this major like cut of my offers, this major pivot and change. And it really was the energy that we wrote about for that, for the first issue of the Almanac. And so it was,
Yep.
it, it's so interesting, like when I put these things out there to actually see them happening. But then also the concept of the feminine energy coming into sales and how women are really, really not buying into the masculine selling, and whether you're using NLP or whether you're using like some kind of cognitive dissonance in between the two sides of, you know, the masculine and the feminine, and like really bringing it together as a full energetic package, because we do live in society that is very, very masculine. And I myself, like, I really, really struggle with this because I am in my masculine energy so much of the time. Like one of the containers that I have is called the Money Pot Collective, where we talk about the energetics of money and how to grow your business, both from a operational standpoint, but from energetic and of money as well. And so our conversation the other day was really, really about this like masculine and feminine, and how you do have to have kind of both sides of it. So super excited to listen to that, and then to have your summit speech coming up as well. Um,
Yeah.
the the combination behind strategy and then understanding that divine feminine as well. Do you have clients who come in and maybe they really, really need that operations and strategy more than the divine feminine? Or is it always that they kind of come in and they really, really need to get in touch with their divine feminine and then work on the operations? Or how do you kind of gauge that and walk them through that?
Yeah, it's definitely a combination, frankly. And I think the way the way that I gauge it is energetically, like truly. Like I primarily look at there's like their social media. I tend to operate through Instagram, and so a lot of people that I attract also like operate and like market through Instagram. And so it's typically me looking at their social media page, and so looking at like what are you projecting out to the world? And then additionally, I usually ask them specific questions on like, how do you want to project yourself out to the world versus how are you actually doing it? And then I kind of look at those two side by side. I was running an offer for during the summer called the sales signal reset. And that's literally what the focus of it was. It was just a 1 day like Instagram audit offer. And I would ask them ahead of time, like, how do you want to be perceived like on social media? Like, what is your goal for that? And then I would compare that to how their social media actually looked and how their copy was, what their frequency felt like, and stuff like when I hopped onto their page. And then I would give them feedback based off of that. So sometimes it was something like as operationally as, okay, I feel like you have some really great high ticket offers. Where's your entry point? Like, where is your freebie or your low ticket? Like, maybe just like work in some sort of a low ticket entry point to like try to get some more people in the door. Sometimes it was more like, okay, if your pricing is this, but you're not getting any bites on it, then what does that mean? Like, let's feel it out more energetically. So it really just depends on the person. And I think what I see as my role in that is to view it holistically, like view, of course, the person holistically as well as their business holistically, and just say, okay, like what am I feeling for them? Like what do I feel like we need to work on? Basically. And then of course they're welcome to give me feedback and say, like, no, I don't want to work on that. Like I actually want to work on this, you know?
Yeah. So it's interesting because you and I like we operate on so much of the same level. And I love that. Like I love talking to other people who are offering the same thing that I'm offering. Not exactly, but like we're in the same realm and
Yes.
just how different it really, really is. Like you are very much more like feminine focused of like what is your offer? And I'm
Mhm.
going, well, what is the transit? Should room for this energy coming in and this energy coming in and what is sociologically going on with the economy and like I bring in like a lot of these like masculine and other areas and you're really really leaning into like okay like what is your resonance and what are you attracting in this so it's really really cool to see like kind of like both sides of that
Yes,
for
I
sure.
know. I totally agree. And that's why I love working with you and I love connecting with you. It's, for that reason, because I just think I feel like you and I are kind of two sides of the same coin. Like we work very similarly. We just have slightly different approaches.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we also are trialing something else coming up too. Do you want to talk about it? Should we give them like a sneak peek?
Yeah. Say this one more time to me. You froze just for like a split second. What did you say?
I said, so should we give everybody kind of a sneak peek of something that we're thinking about doing for more of like the springtime?
Yes. Is this the summit?
Hmm?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We have spoken amongst ourselves as well as to a few other women who have either done the Almanac or otherwise about potentially doing a summit in like towards the beginning of the year in the springtime, like super exciting. I don't know, we haven't really hashed out any details yet. This is really just like the bare bones of
It
it.
is. It is. But I think that like together, and I think like the main focus of what we want to talk about is like not just the energetics of money, but also like that masculine and feminine and like how
Yes.
really, really work into that, especially between, like all different modalities and bringing in the one that resonates with you most. And I think that that is probably one of my favorite parts of the Quantum Almanac and why I love bringing all of my contributors in is because everybody has such different views and different ways that they can support somebody who resonates
Yeah.
a different modality and I love that we can all speak to the same transformation through our different modalities like for a long time I did yoga and for a long time I did like other things like and we have different ways to help you achieve the same results and that is really really powerful of like like whatever is going to feel good in your body you
Mhm.
can reach the same results. And I think that that's kind of a lot of the energy behind the summit as well. So obviously there will be way more information coming up about that over the next,
Yes.
like 6-ish months as we build that out. But definitely, I love giving sneak peeks. I am the worst at secrets. So there is no
No, I love it.
secrets with me. Okay. So um, let's talk a little bit more about our RT because I feel like we popped open the pop soda can on that just so that we can get a K-pop Demon Hunters reference in here for SEO purposes. Okay, so we popped open our soda pop, and can you tell me a little bit more about it? Because RRT is brand new to me, and it seems like you can go really, really far. But let's just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so on a basic level, it is a subconscious rewiring technique and it focuses on using different senses basically like in order to accomplish that subconscious rewire. When I say different senses, I mean like during a visualization or during a session, it will bring in things like imagery as well as like sounds as well as like visions of like on the just to give a sneak peek since we're sneak peeking today, the audio that I released called the altar view, it brings in the concept of moonlight and it brings it in terms of like you feel the moonlight on your skin, you feel that it's romantic, you feel that it's warm, you feel that it's inviting, like, and it associates all these things with the concept of moonlight. And then it brings the moon. So in that case, like the moonlight is like a tangible thing for you, you
Mhm.
know, that your brain can be like, okay, moonlight, got it. Then it like associates all these things with moonlight, and it kind of walks you through this subconscious rewire by using this tangible thing as the vehicle, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because we don't just form a subconscious belief with a thought. Like that's not how it works. Like we form it with all of our senses. We form it with vision, with smell, with our ears, with hearing, like with everything. And
Right.
so that's really what RRT is about, is like rewiring your subconscious using multiple of your senses to assist in that rewire.
Love that. So, like for me, when I'm like channeling business energy, or like a lot of times, like when I have these big epiphanies or downloads or whatever we're calling them, like it's just words. Like to be in that liminal space where like everything has a lot of energy behind it. Like it could be like the smallest sound, or like the dewdrop on the blade of grass, or like the rabbit that hops past you, or the cardinal that comes in when you're in that moment, like in that kind of like, it does feel like a little like ooh, as far as like space,
Yeah.
meditation space or whatever. But to have those anchors come in and to be guided through that, that's amazing. Love it.
Yeah. And the primary goal of RRT is to create neutrality around something. So that's a really big thing that I want to call out, is that it's not to create necessarily a positive association with something. It's specifically to create neutrality. So like if you have this subconscious fear around visibility, for example, and like there's a lot of things that you are limiting yourself, like subconsciously limiting yourself around in terms of visibility. Like maybe it's limiting you so you're not posting on social media, like you're really not marketing yourself because you're like, oh, like I don't want to be visible because if I'm visible, then X, Y, and Z, like all these bad things will happen if I suddenly gain visibility. So RRT, the goal is to create neutrality around the concept of visibility in that instance, you know?
Yeah, I love that. And I think that like that goes back to like a lot of like the levels of consciousness and just being accepting of everything. So, um if you look at my human design, like one of my main incarnation cross points is that gate of acceptance. And that means that it's acceptance of anything as it is. And so like as I've embraced human design more, and as I've embraced, the way that I work more, like stepping into that, and then also chatting with my therapist, like when big things happen and I don't have the reaction that I feel I should over them, because I was just kind of like in the neutral state and understanding that, like if big things happen, like while that is a reflection of what's going on in the world, it's also a reflection of me and how I feel about myself, because I am everything. And so like it's really fun to kind of bring that full circle. Awesome. Okay. So tell us where we can find you.
Yeah. So
Obviously on Instagram, but
obviously on Instagram, yes. So I am most active in terms of social media. I am most active on my Instagram. My handle is Natalie in Abundance. No spaces or anything. And yeah, I mean from there, like my newest, like the Ultra Review, my newest rewire is linked in my bio. Oh, I also a few weeks ago, which this is so funny. I haven't really like publicly talked about this much. A few weeks ago, I launched my Substack called the Priestess Codes, and I have been doing that every Friday. And so, if you are interested at all in learning more about the codes behind like business and wealth energetics, the Priestess Codes is where you want to be 100%. Every week I do a different code. And so at this point, I think I've done the sovereignty code. I don't even remember what else, but that's the one word that sticks out to me is the sovereignty code. And it's just me telling a story like some story about my life where I have downloaded that code and then how I've implemented it in the future and how you can implement it in your business, like what that can mean for you basically. And then there's, of course, at the end, there's me like empowering you to also embrace sovereignty.
Awesome.
So
So for your Substack, are you focusing on written content, video content? How are you focusing on your content for your Substack?
I am doing written, yes. So it's basically like I'm kind of treating it like a every Friday journal at this point. Um, and we'll see how it develops. It's new for me, and I honestly have never used Substack as a platform before, but I see the potential. And so I'm starting it as like a written modality, but we'll see how it develops, especially going into 2026.
Yeah, it's interesting. So this is definitely going on Substack. So you will be co-tagged in this as a creator
Yay!
on this video. So this will help with your Substack as well. So I started Substack, I think in February of this year, and I just kind of I went very Aries with it at first, and I was writing 6 days a week, and then summer kind of hit. And I also had the realization that I'm like in people's inboxes like 6 days a week. And I was like, that's an awful lot of me. I would get sick of myself. So I kind of ratcheted it down a little bit. So if you don't know on Substack, you can follow somebody and still be in the app knowing when their stuff is going. If you're subscribed to them, then that means you're going to get an email. So just so you like our viewers are aware, like there is a difference if if you're subscribed to me and you're like, I am so sick of her emails. You can follow me and then we won't have that problem. But yes, also Instagram, funnily enough, I abandoned Instagram. I abandoned all social media. When was it? Like 2023, 2024. I just was like, I'm not doing social media. And it was really, really hard because I was also a couple years into my business going through some pivots and stuff. And I really very much had been and was still in the energy of like hiding under a blanket and being like, I'm launching a business. It's so amazing and you can do so many cool things, but nobody could see me. And so for 2025, through Boston Business Women and Christina Saporis, like my goal for 2025 was authentic visibility. And so to like, come back into these social spaces and be in an area where I'm just going to be myself. Like I'm going to show up in my masculine energy. I'm going to show up in my comfy pink sweater. If you've ever seen me in that, it's like that's where I'm like in my total Cancer element, like I'm just going to show up as I am. And like their hate is just going to be there, but I also have to use those levels of consciousness and that neutrality towards like like you can say those things about me, but really it's a reflection of yourself too.
Yes.
So like to be into those spaces. Instagram I still have a hard time with. Like I feel the vibes are not my authentic vibes. So I'm on TikTok, I'm also on Instagram. My handle on both of those places is abundantly April. So like it's funny
Oh
that
my
we
God.
have abundant in our handles.
Didn't even realize that. That's so funny. I know. I was well, and I did like a rebrand probably about a year ago at this point where I chose that my new handle, Natalie in Abundance. And I went through so many different iterations. It was like it wasn't that long, but it was like a few days of me like making a list, dwindling it down again, going back to things that I had crossed out. So that's so funny that we both have that abundance in our
It
handle.
is. It is funny because I also have like a whole soapbox on prosperity and abundance and the vibrational language of that. And I hardly ever use abundance anymore.
I
Like I feel
love it.
like that's lower than where I am. Such a jerk. That's okay. I don't mind. I like my prosperity jerkiness. So awesome. Okay. All of the links of everything that you mentioned will be wherever this is posted, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or, all of the different places. So I am so thankful that you came on. It's so exciting to be able to learn more about you. Be sure to check out the Quantum Business Almanac. That is also listed down below. There's a lot of other contributors in there, and then great like transit advice of like, this
Yeah.
week feels crunchy. What are exactly is going on so that you can kind of navigate through that. And then check out everybody else's links and everything. So let's see. Next steps. Go check out Natalie. Go check out me if you want to learn more about me. And I'm sure we'll have you on again before the end of the year. I'm looking forward to your summit. So that link won't be in there, guys. Okay. I don't think there's a link for it yet, but I will update it and we'll probably have Natalie on again before that. So thank you, Natalie, for coming on today. I
Yay!
love your energy and I love chatting with you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy that we finally got to do this.
Ah, for sure. Awesome. Okay. I will see you guys next time we have somebody on.
Yay!